head of the academic department here at Point Avenue, Thailand. I've been in the team for 2 years, so I'm involved in building the academic curriculum for the kids that are studying in our programs here, as well as building the academic curriculums for those that are joining our camp programs as well during camp. So we have summer camp when we have winter camps for like students that are interested as well. So for today's seminar, the main purpose is to let parents that are interested in joining our term next year and those that are here that are interested into knowing more about what products we have in store and what products are beneficial for your child's growth, right? As every single children or every single kid, they have their own specialized dream or something that they want to pursue. So here in Point Avenue, we allow them to pursue these avenues, whether they want to join myself in the academic department, whether they want to join other debate coaches in their department to learn public speaking, or to even gain self-confidence when they're making an argument, when they're arguing their point in a debate situation. So here for next term, or for today, our agenda is going to be as follows. We'll first begin by myself introducing the academic classes that we have on offer for next term, followed by our exciting new center. So if you haven't heard yet, at home or here, Point Avenue will be moving to our new center starting next term. So we're going to learn a little bit more details about our new center, where it'll be, and what sort of facilities we will have there as well. Next, followed by the debate classes, our head coach here, Mr. John, will be giving everyone a small run-through of what he has in store for the debate classes, followed by Q&A sessions for parents, and then closing remarks. So, as I mentioned earlier, to start off, we will begin by discussing the academic classes and the roadmaps of which your child can partake. So first, as a contest, or what does Point Avenue have in store for your kids if you join one of our academic classes? Well, each term we have some sort of showcase. So currently for this fall term, all the students that are registered now, they have their author showcase happening next week, as next week is already their final class for the term. So here for last term, during our fall term, the students had their slam poetry. So these were some of the students. We split them up into 2 levels, just so it's a bit fair. You've got your middle school level, your elementary levels, and that's where they would compete into their grade levels. So we gave out some prizes for the students that won, so such as first place prize, first runner-up, and second runner-up prizes. So we'll be having these, and it's interchangingly over from one term to the next. So for example, you had slam poetry last term. This term, we focused on the kids having their author showcase. So all of the stories that they've written throughout the year, they have to pick one main story and then edit that, give it to their friends, their peers. We teach them how to peer review, peer edit each other's work, and then at the final, they get to present their work to each other, to their classmates. We also invite parents if those are interested, and we'll also film the kids' stories. So here, as well as with the elementary kids, because this year we offered students online classes. So for those that are learning online classes, we use Medium, which is a blog website, for all of our students. They all had to learn how to create their online profile. So Pat, he created his profile there. One of our students, Nane, she created her profile there. And on our profiles, each week, all of the students would have to write out a story based on the prompt for that week in class, and then they would have to post it in the Medium account. So starting all the way, so they could always see their work each week. They can see their progression each week as well and monitor how did they start originally from our first week, or like this one from Nami was September 17th, all the way to like our latest class, still currently ongoing. So like Pat I just had him on Thursday, so this was one of his most recent posts on his Medium account. So this is a way for kids to share their interest with others, and they can follow each other's account, comment on each other's stories as well. So it's just a more interactive way for kids that are learning online to still feel involved, rather than just sitting in class here and knowing that they have to come all the time to just be involved and to gain something out of these classes. So we have these mediums as their writing profiles as well. So now regarding the content, right? So what are your child, or what's your child going to learn when they come with us here? We've got 2 streams, as I mentioned. Similar to the way the Poetry Slam works, we keep the students separated. So we've got elementary level creative writing, and then we've got middle school level creative writing. With regard to these 2 classes, their key features may be similar, but their focus is drastically different. To be able to handle materials such as the middle school level, you somewhat need to already know the foundations required to be able to create complex sentences or sentences with additional transitional words to combine your paragraphs or your sentences together. So key features are advanced storytelling techniques, symbolism, and thematic exposures or explorations will showcase the student's personal growth. So this will happen no matter what class you attend with us. We always showcase the student's personal growth so that they themselves see the value in the time that they're putting in. They see that there are outputs, there are results from them practicing. The benefits your child will have from joining us would be improved writing skills, increased self-expression. And this is a key point that a lot of either school counselors at an elementary level would like to discuss to most parents about, such as kids lacking self-expression, right? This does not mean confidence to be themselves, to be who they are, but rather to have the ability to properly express their feelings or their emotions. Sometimes these are lingering emotions, lingering feelings that we just lack the vocabulary to put through. They might be excellent writers, excellent speakers, but they lack that part of self-expression. And this is what we go through in class as well. Lastly, would be a boosted creativity. Because it is creative writing class, we do want to focus on their boosted creativity. If your character finds this problem as a plot, what 3 avenues can we discuss to solve this problem? As most writers like to go down a single avenue, with my students, we will explore different avenues so that they can pick the most thought-provoking one for the reader. It's not always going to be the simplest answer, no, but it will be the most creative one or the most thought-provoking one. And that's where we try to narrow down for our first step with the elementary level. Then you've got the middle school level as they move up, or if like a little bit older students wanted to start at the middle school level, we also start with foundations. In case they're not fully prepared, they still need to learn a bit of the foundations, we have them. So we'll be teaching storytelling foundations and the fundamentals, exploring of genres. So this is the key highlight I want parents to take away with our creative writing, is we're not looking at one simple genre. It's not just narrative. We're looking at descriptive writing as well. We're looking at poetic writing as well in a creative style, so the kids can choose. Do they want an AABB style poem where it rhymes, and then different rhymes, or they choose to write their own artistic poetic styles? So we really explore the different genres that the English literature has to offer, followed by editing and revising skills. Now this is very important because in more generic schools, like normal schools, you tend to have classes of 20 or 20 plus. So to be able to get the students to sit down, share each other's work, teach them revision techniques, proofreading techniques, is very hard to get elsewhere. But here at Point Avenue, we take the time. We're very diligent with teaching your child how to proofread their own work, and better yet, how to give their work to other students and analyze their students' work with positive feedback. We teach them the sandwich approach, which is giving suggestions, telling them something you love and like about the story, and then ending it with another soft suggestion. So it's not just fully negative. So we teach ways on how to give peer feedback and how to give positive peer reviews as well. Then what would they gain? Outcomes from our lessons would be a broadened creative horizon, as it is still creative writing focus. They will have enhanced critical thinking, as they will learn how to navigate each of their friends' stories and how to properly word what they want to say. How can I say this in the nicest way or the most effective way? And last, they'll have a sense of pride and accomplishment. So this will be in our author showcase when we invite mommies and daddies to come watch them. When they're standing there presenting, all of our students have told us that they felt a sense of accomplishment. Just to have everyone listen to you, watching you as you speak and read, they felt that pride. So those would be the approaches with the key features, and these will be the outcomes of what your child can learn. As that is the creative aspect, we also have the more writing-focused aspect. So these break into two categories, right? Writing Coach 201 and Writing Coach 301, which is the advanced class. So with Writing Coach 201, still talking about storytelling techniques, but now, rather than fundamentals, as previously mentioned, we're focusing on the mastery of the writing technique. We're not going to be spending our introductory talking about conflict resolution, how to build up conflict. No, that has already been addressed previously. Now we're focusing on how to refine your conflict, how to use setting around your story to push your story further, how to progress your theme. So that will be the main focus with our 201, followed by fostering editing and revision skills. So everything we've taught them previously with our creative writing, now we're even refining it more in terms of revision skills. So rather than having one proofread, we'll teach the students to go through their writing again, but look for different aspects. Now you're looking for repetitive words. If you've said so too many times, or if you've used and too many times, we try to change those out for other synonyms. Then collaborative skills. So 201 will be less individual based and more group collective work based, where they will give each other revisions, they will give each other feedback, and share their work with each other every single week. So they'll have something to start in class, finish for homework, and share the next class so they can get feedback. So from this, as we're sharing every single week, they will receive enhanced communication skills. So as it is an international or English class, every single student will be required to speak only English in our class. So your student or your kid will be in that environment already, and having that sort of skill being placed or presented to them, they will just improve with fluency. Next, peer interaction. Once again, the same as enhanced communication skills. Last, sense of accomplishment. So we always want our kids to feel this, because if they don't have a sense of accomplishment, it's hard to ask them, so for this past 4 months, can you please repeat to me or let me know what have you learned? What have you achieved? So if they did not give themselves that sense of accomplishment, it's hard for a teacher, a parent, a guidance counselor to reflect with the student. They need to be aware, as they're already in class, to constantly be reflecting on what they have learned and to be proud of themselves. Whether it's a big success, small success, you have learned something today. So we should always reward them for that. The next, for our highest level of writing that we offer here, starting next term, would be the Master or Writing Coach 301. So this is intermediate level writing, But here we're focusing on the advanced storytelling techniques. So here you'll start to see more plays with motifs. So what is going to happen in the story later on? So the authors will put motifs or foreshadowing of the story of what is to come. So they will place clues and we'll teach them how to place these little clues throughout their story. So these are very specific advanced writing styles and writing technique that we'll be discussing. Next is further advanced editing and revision skills. So this is no more just simply looking for synonyms. Now we're going into something called word economy. So word economy means things such as simple grammatic rules running on sentences, where one sentence is going on for too long. There's no commas, there's no full stops. So now we're looking at word economy. How to shorten down your story or certain parts of your story for it to be more efficient with less amount of words. So that is where we'll be focusing for 301 with our word economy. And that would help with the high school students as well when they're doing essays. Last would be confident in their personal voice, because they'll be writing so often that all of our students that are currently enrolled, they have been able to use the time in class to find their personal voice. They started to know, am I a funny writer? Am I a dramatic writer? Do I prefer writing in the tone of horror, in a scary tone? So all of our artists and our writers and our students this year, they're able to already find their own voice. So I want to continue, and we will continue doing this for our next term as well. Then last, the benefits from this class would be obviously enhanced critical thinking, since we're always challenging them. How can you solve this plot? How else can this character fix this issue? Next would be broaden creative horizons, as we're exploring different word economy, how to fix these paragraphs, these sentences. They need to be more creative. Creative with their word choice, creative with their sentence structure. So that would broaden their creative horizon. And lastly, the peer recognition and support. So all we're building here are young artist communities, young author communities. So we want to support each other, want our peers to really support each other. That's why for the younger class, we use Medium, so they can post online and gain support for their classmates and their peers also. So here, the last two, so for those that are not interested in the storytelling aspect or not interested in creating novels, fiction, nonfiction, or anything like that. So if your child is more focused in essay writing, we actually have a class specifically tailored for that as well. So here, this class is also split into two levels. You've got your middle school essay writing, and then you've got your high school essay writing. So for our middle school, the number one thing we'll be teaching at this level, since it's younger, would be a foundational writing skills. And this foundational writing skills is not the same style as a narrative story writing or descriptive story writing, because these are looking into multi-page essays, where in school, you might be asked to create a scientific paper, where in social studies, you might be asked to create a history paper. So these are the aspects that we cover. You might go into 7th grade next year, 8th grade next year. Your teacher starts to ask you, please cite your sources. So in our class, we teach our students what citations means, how you can do proper citations for different essay papers. At a university level, because we'll teach at the high school as well, you'll learn that with citations for scientific paper, for history paper, or English paper, they use different styles. There's APA, there's MLA, and there's Chicago. So we'll teach the students all those styles and which one to use for what paper. What can your kid gain from this? Is improve writing proficiency in an essay level writing. They'll also understand of essay genres. So as I mentioned, the classes have been split into 4 units. So you've got your genre of scientific paper, history paper, social studies paper, and followed by English literature paper. So that would be our last unit. So we'll be covering all those papers and how are they different. Lastly, by joining this class, your child is guaranteed a smooth transition to their high school level classes. And here, as I mentioned earlier, the courses for our high school students that we have to offer is, instead of just fundamentals, we focused on advanced writing techniques. We're trying to get these students ready for college, right? They're doing exams, we're trying to get them fully ready in our part, do our part to help. So instead of just learning about citations, they are now experts. We're going to teach them to become experts in citations, being able to recognize writing their own citations and know exactly what citations needed for what type of paper. And last, by joining this class, we're going to challenge your child with individual research projects. So this is going to be something they will have to do at school, 100%, whatever year it'll be. They might get it at grade 11, they might get given it at grade 12. But here, we will start it early and challenge your child to make their own individual research project with the guidance of our mentors, of course, of our teachers. So we'll give you free choice of your main, what you want to focus on, whether it's literature, science paper, history paper. And we will guide you through the steps to fully produce, whether it's a 5-page essay, 4-page essay, whatever it may be. We'll work together each week in class and give you for homework so that by the end, you can present your essay to the class and parents, as we'll invite them to join. So the benefits of this would be high-level writing proficiency. So almost expertise level writing proficiency in the field of essay writing. They'll be able to gain advanced critical thinking, as this will tackle their brain or tickle their brain in other aspects rather than just literature. They'll have to analyze charts if they're writing on a scientific paper. They might have to analyze experiments. Why did this fail? Or why did the independent variable fail? So they'll be able to look at different papers and improve their critical thinking aspects with those papers. And last, our course will prepare your child for college level writing. And that is our main goal right there. We want your child to have a smooth transition, moving from wherever they are, if they're taking the IBs, grade 11, grade 12. So moving from there to your college level, if you've taken or high school essay writing before, you should see no problems. This class should almost be harder than some of like the college level writing because we really want to prepare you for that. You'll be able to easily comprehend anything they throw at you. So those are the classes that we have in offer in terms of the academic department. But here, let's introduce our new location. So for those that are watching at home, some of you might have only heard about us moving to MBK, but yes, that is true. So starting next term, our new location will now be at MBK. So here at MBK, so the floor map, we will be located, as you could see up there, we would be located on the 6th floor. So on the 6th floor, you can follow all these blue dots to see all the different escalators that you could arrive from. As well as opposite of our office, we also have the car park. So if you're not entering from the other floors, you can just park directly on the 6th floor and you'll have Point Avenue right there. So that is the layout of where we are currently located, or currently will be located in MBK. So we'll be on the 6th floor, very conveniently located next to the parking lot, and all these escalator access. So yep, so there is for the more comprehensive understanding of the location. So you've got the road, 6th floor learning hub. So we're in zone D. So MBK Tower. So for more understanding of how it'll look like, so as we can already see with our location, so we're going to have the rooms stationed there. So those would be our classrooms. And we're still going to have specialized classrooms. We're not going to exceed a maximum of 8 students per class. We still want to give our students the perfect one-on-one or as much as possible, right? Give them as much feedback, give them as much of our attention as possible. So classes are still the perfect size for how many students we want to have. And here, in terms of convenience, if your kids are interested in other activities, right? So you've got like iMake there, or if your kid's interested in dancing, or like Japanese or K-pop culture, you have Dandelion. They're like a dance studio or a studio with like K-pop culture or Japanese culture that they'll do things there as well. And then iMake, you have robotics. So if your kids are interested in things such as computer or coding or building anything with their hands, so iMake as well is there for their options. And then you have Chula Tutor for more of like a Thai school. If you're specific in like Thai history, social studies, science, you can go to there as well just to get more understanding of those aspects. But yeah, you've got iMake and Dandelion for your kids' other activities if they're ever interested as well. So here, with regards to location, obviously most of us can drive there, but if you're in Bangkok and you prefer to use the BTS, you're close by, then it'll be a 7-minute walk to the National Stadium or the BTS station, and a 10-minute walk to the Siam BTS station. So the National Stadium BTS stations actually just connected to MBK, so you can use the walking area there just to get straight to MBK. You don't have to go on the roads or any extra connecting area. So convenience is definitely there. All right. So with regards to my part as an academic teacher, as I mentioned earlier, we have 2 streams for your child to join in. So we've got the academic approach, or the other stream here, we have the debate classes. So for the debate classes, I have head coach, Mr. John here. He'll introduce himself and he'll tell you guys a little bit more about what streams, what courses debate has to offer next term.
A lot of different things. You learn a lot of like arguing strategies or different first principles that matter and all of that. What is a concept that you have learned through debating that kind of like blew your mind the first time you heard it?
I think a lot of things about debating blew my mind actually, but something that really blew my mind was criminal justice actually in one of Say's class. Like, Say goes into very long detail, and I'm like, wow, this is actually like some really advanced material, and I feel like it really makes you see the world in a more nuanced light. And in debating in general helps you see the world in a more two-sided perspective, because I think everybody has personal prejudices, right? For example, me. I might have personal opinion, and we still tend to stick to our personal opinions, but with the way we view the world, right? But when we debate, we look at things from a more two-sided perspective, because you never know whether you're going to be in favor of something or against something. And that really helps you to understand other people more, because in the world, there's many different types of people. And when you're able to see those different perspectives, I think it really helps you become a more holistic and open person. In that sense, I think debate really makes you grow as an individual. And for example, debate also touches a lot on like struggles that are happening in society or like experiences of other people. And I feel like when you do that, it makes you more like compassionate and understanding, and it makes it a lot easier to be aware of the things that are happening in the world. Like for example, in criminal justice, they taught us about, well, structural failures, mitigating factors, which are basically like why certain people shouldn't be sentenced as harshly as other people, and why there are certain faults in our justice system, and why we shouldn't be hating on or discriminating on criminals because of the origin, because how sometimes it's not because they want to be criminals, but it's because of rather the condition that they are in forces them to become a criminal. And I think that's extremely important for people and kids to learn so that we can have a better society. So yeah, if your parents send your kids to debate so they can be better people.
You started out debating by learning yourself, and then you joined Point Avenue and got some guidance in Point Avenue.
Correct.
What would you say would be the main ways that joining Point Avenue was different from when you were learning yourself?
First off, structure. All right. So when I learned myself, I really only know argumentation, how to construct a decent argument, right? With the point, evidence, explanation, link, and stuff. I already knew that. And then Point Avenue gave me more structure, instead more just the argument itself. We have the framing, the characterization, the stakeholders, the burdens, right? The burden mapping and stuff, all of that. So it changed, give me more structure, give me more guidance on how to fill out the 6 minute instead of just rambling and filling more content that actually has value in the debate instead of just arguments that they have value but they don't have the winning power. All right, framing. Let's think about this. All right, argumentation is an engine, right? In a plane, for example, or a rocket, whatever you want, right? The engine that drives the whole thing, that's the core. But without the frame, without the frame of a plane, the frame of a rocket, none of that will work. All right, you just have an engine that's just burning there for no reason, without nothing to drive around and actually land on points. You just have something that just sits there. So that's what I would describe getting guidance for Point Avenue looks like.
Test. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Coach John. I'm the head of debate and public speaking here at Point Avenue. Just now, we heard a little bit from, these are currently our all-stars students. The first one is Proud. She is 16 this year. And the other one was Peace. He is 15 this year. That video was recorded earlier in this year. And they've been with us for a while. We'll go over some of the achievements of our students in a bit. But with us, they've been able to go to competitions and do quite well in competitions. So I'll be talking about debate, but before I go into the more details, I just want to see or get some vibes of what we're looking for in the audience here. So if I could ask, coming to Point Avenue to the seminar today, what's an expectation or what is something that you're looking to know from this seminar?
Actually, I'm just finding where can improve my child to speak in front, and can be express her opinions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, and this is your child. What's your name?
I'm Sensu.
Sensu. Yeah. Okay, nice to meet you, Sensu. Have you ever done any public speaking before?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In competitions or class presentations? What's the kind of presentations that you've done?
Sometimes we will do individual works. Sometimes we will do works in couples and then in groups. These are the main.
All right, amazing. She sounds very confident already to me. But I'm sure we'll have some courses that could fit her as well. Great. And excuse me, what are you looking for from the seminar today?
I'm interested in public speaking from my child. He speaks very in low voice and probably want to boost his confidence.
Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of our students that come into the debate and public speaking programs here at Point Avenue start from that very soft voice. Sometimes we'll ask their name and they don't want to share their name. We had a student who, in our current affairs class, we used that class to encourage them to share their opinions. For the first 4 lessons, the first 4 weeks, absolutely refused to say his name. Every once in a while, the teacher will be teaching, and just to check up on him, ask, "What's your name?" Wouldn't answer. But soon after that, by the end of the term, the teacher had a different problem. which is to get the kid to stop talking. So that is some improvement, and I think that that is definitely a good problem to have. We're very experienced with those types of students. So I'm John Ishak. I am from Malaysia, but I grew up in a lot of places. It's kind of hard to explain where I'm from. I've had 7 years of experience coaching, debating, and public speaking. I coached my first school when I was 18 years old. So right after high school, I've been debating since I was 15 years old. And I fell in love with the activity. For a lot of people, for a lot of our students, that this is an activity that they do for fun and to improve their skills that they can use in other areas of their life. For me, debate and public speaking is my life. So a lot of experience there. I have coached WSDC Vietnam. So WSDC means World Schools Debating Championship. And that is like the Olympics of debating for the school level, where you'll have the best debaters from the country, from each country, to go to this competition and represent that country. In fact, Proud was on the way to making the team, but it was last year and she was still quite young. She made the first rounds of going into the further level of selection, but then she didn't make it then. But we'll try again this year. So we're also trying to help our students to make it into the national team for Thailand. But I coached the national team of Vietnam until recently because very busy with classes, so I can't take the time to coach them anymore. I was the champion of Australasia, so that's Asia, including Australia and New Zealand as well, in the ESL category, that is English as a second language category. Then I was also the national champion and best speaker of Malaysia in 2019. And I was Oxford InterVarsity semi-finalist in the ESL category, finalist of Asia British Parliamentary. British Parliamentary is a format of debating, and Asia is on the Asian level. I was the finalist of in 2018, and I was a WUDC quarter finalist in the ESL category. WUDC is the World's Universities Debating Championship. It is the biggest debating competition in the world, with every year having more than 200 teams participate from universities from all around the world. And yeah, quarterfinalists, not bad. My teammate, so another teacher that we have on the debate team as well, is Mr. Itza Sumro. He is from Pakistan, but he grew up in Malaysia. He has also had a lot of experience teaching, 5 years teaching debate and public speaking, and also 2 years of communication coaching. That's more for the corporate side of things. So he would teach professionals on to help them with their communication and their presentation for work purposes. So that's his background. He was the Oxford InterVarsity finalist, Cambridge InterVarsity finalist, and World Universities Debating Championship semi-finalist. So if we look at that, Oxford, I was and he was finalist for Oxford. So he's a little bit better. World's Universities Debating Championship quarterfinalist. He just had to one-up me and become the semi-finalist in that category. So the point being that we have amazing, amazing coaches with a lot of experience in the activity, and as well as another thing that's not on this list is that we are both judges, international judges, and what that means. And the reason why we didn't put it is because if we put the list of countries that we have judged in, it wouldn't fit on the page. I've judged, been invited to judge debate competitions in Korea, in Malaysia, in the Philippines, in India, in Singapore, in Indonesia, and a few other places as well. And Mr. Itza as well has judged international debate competitions all around the world. Both of us have also judged the World Scholars Cup. So maybe some of the parents have heard of debating from World Scholars Cup, where the schools have a World Scholars Cup competition. We do have World Scholars Cup training here at Point Avenue, but as a private course upon special requests. And both of us were actually judges of the World Scholars Cup for the global round in 2018. So we've seen the ballots, we still see exactly how they score things, so we kind of know the behind the scenes of how things work for the World Scholars Cup as well. So why Point Avenue debate programs? I think even before that, let's try to ask our student here, do you know what debating is?
I think debating is like where we show our rights by speaking to a lot of people.
So we're speaking in front of an audience, great, and we're telling them why we are right, why our solution is the best solution, why our ideas are the best ideas. And there are a few centers that teach debate and public speaking in Thailand. I want to highlight the things that makes Point Avenue different. So one, we have a purposeful curriculum, which we use inquiry-based learning. So we use the Socratic method. In a lot of centers, yes, they would share the information, they would teach the students, and the students will learn and they'll practice those skills. Here, the way we approach teaching is not by just spoon-feeding the students. We don't like that. We like to ask questions in class. And we'll ask questions until they get to a right answer, and we'll nudge them in the right direction. We believe in self-discovery. Because a lot of times when we're teaching, yes, the student can recite whatever they learned, but do they actually understand? Oftentimes, when they go on that journey themselves and they discover it themselves, they feel more fulfilled with the results that they found, and they're more likely to remember it as well without necessarily having to revise it over and over to remember it. So that's why we use this approach. We have a holistic development that includes knowledge and skills. A lot of centers would focus more on the skills, which is the way to construct an argument, the way to construct rebuttals. But when it comes to the reading aspect of things, they don't really help out much with that. The students often have to read by themselves, or maybe their teachers would give some kind of a reading list to help guide them. However, in our classes, we actually have matter lessons. So in debating, we have matter, manner, and method. Matter refers to the content. Manner refers to the presentation style, the articulation, vocal projection, body language, eye contact, and all of that. And method refers to the strategy and approach that the students take when they're approaching the topic and how do they deal with those topics. So for us, we teach all three areas. And for the matter areas, which are the content, in our beginner lessons, we actually have information lessons about government. About how government systems work, right? About education. What is the purpose of education? How do we maximize the output of education? About economics as well. Basic supply and demand. Or how, like the invisible hand of the market, right? That determines the prices of things. So we have these different areas of topics that we also discuss with the students and help them understand the real world around them. A lot of parents, they will ask, oh, that sounds really difficult. Are you sure that my middle school kid can understand politics? Are you sure that my middle school child can understand law? We even discussed law. Like in the video, she said that they learn about the criminal justice system. But of course, yes, these are difficult topics, but they are packaged in a way specifically designed for students of that age, right? So we don't bombard them too much with too much information, but enough that they understand the fundamental basics so that they can make their own arguments and opinions from that. We also have an experienced coaching team. I went through the coaches. I don't think I have to elaborate this further. The debate programs focus on the 21st century skills. So these are the principal outcomes of all of our classes. Yes, there's different ways to approach it, different ways to get there, but the main goal are the 21st century skills, which is one, critical thinking, the ability to question, and the ability to find the answers as well to those questions. Collaboration. In debating, you often have to work with a team, work with your teammates. A lot of students, they come in, they're great speakers sometimes, they're really smart, but when we put them in a team, they're like, oh, I don't want to work with these people, they're not smart as me. So an attitude issue as well. So we help them learn how to collaborate, how to have that discussion, how to open up room for other people to speak, but while also being assertive yourself and including yourself in the discussion, understanding the dynamics of a discussion so everyone gets a fair chance to participate. Communication skills by the choice of language and the way that they present their language, and creativity, because sometimes in debating, the topics are weird and you have to think outside of the box. So we have creativity. Under Point Avenue, actually, there's one more that's not here that we also enforce, or we also encourage character, right? Students, sometimes debating can be hard, it can be frustrating, but we try our best to be mentors and guide them through those difficult times and encourage them to work through and have that resilience and diligence to deal with the difficult topic or see a topic, they're like, I don't understand, what does this mean? It's like, okay, calm down, break it down. What does this word mean? What does this word mean? What does this word mean? Now put it all together. What do you think does the whole sentence means? And we help build them up from there. And they'll soon realize that sometimes the problem does seem big, but if they break it down into smaller pieces, it's something that they can manage. Then our ethos in the debate programs, Point Avenue has its own ethos, but we also have our own little, because we're in the debate club, kind of the cool kids. So we do have our own ethos, which is question the status quo, challenge the norm, and speak up for what you believe in. Some parents get worried when they hear this. They're like, oh, then my child will not listen to me. They'll question everything I say. Most of the time, that is not the case. In fact, when they learn to express their ideas or their opinions in a way that it's easier for parents to understand, it's easier for them to discuss those things with parents, and it's also easier for parents to discuss those things with their children when the children can understand logic and can understand critical thinking and can understand reasoning, cause and effect to their own actions. So it actually makes that kind of dynamic of the relationship better. Or that's the feedback and review that I've received from parents before. Next, here are some student achievements from Point Avenue. So we send our students to local and international competitions. Both of our coaches here, we are quite connected internationally in the debate scene. So whenever there's a tournament in whatever country, in whatever week, we know about it, and we filter those competitions, and the ones that are suitable for our students, for their level of progress, where they are in their debating journey, we will recommend competitions to them. So some of the achievements, we've had the Asia Schools Debating Championship. This was hosted online, but the tournament is based in Singapore. And our team, they were champions of the under 16 category, and one of their speakers was the finals best speaker and 9th best speaker in the under 16 category. This means under 16 level of debating, they had teams from all over Asia. Our team were the champions for the under 16 category. So that's an international level competition. That will look amazing in your university applications when you have, I've participated, not only participated, but was the champion of an international level debating competition. We also had the Japan Debate Open, where our student went into the Open Octo Finals. What that means when it says Open Octo Finals is that it is an open tournament that is open not only for high school students, but it is a tournament that is open for everyone. That means that there were people in that debate competition who were university level students, and there are also people who left university and were working already, who they had a bored weekend, they go to a debate competition. And our student, still just at the age of 15, broke into the open category and reached the Octo Finals against those teams. Next, we have AMDC, that is short for the Asian Middle School Debating Championship. That actually happened 2 weeks ago in Vietnam. We took some of our students, flew them over to Vietnam. We had our coaches follow them to Vietnam as well, and we supported that entire process, where one of our teams that went there was in the open quarterfinals. Yeah, so they reached the quarterfinals of that tournament. Then we have TMDC, Thailand Middle School Debating Championship, that our teams were the finals. This was a national level competition in Thailand. We have the other ones are all national level. THSDC is the Thailand High School Debating Championship. THBPO is the Thailand British Parliamentary Open, and TWSDC is the Thailand World Schools Debating Championship. A lot of acronyms, I know, but what it means is that those are just Thailand level tournaments, and we've had achievements in those tournaments as well. So, what programs do we offer at Point Avenue? And I think that this is the part that parents are actually interested in and they want to learn more about. The selling part that was earlier, to promote it, great. Now let's get into the meat of it, of what are the programs that we offer. So, under the debate tournament at Point Avenue, we have 3 main categories of our programs. Number 1, we have competitive debating. Number 2, we have public speaking. And number 3, we have current affairs. let's look at our main one, which is competitive debating. So in the competitive debating roadmap, the goal is at the end to go to competitions and to hopefully win in those competitions as well. If not win, at least do well in those competitions. But then parents ask, oh, what if I just want my kid to learn? Do they have to go to competitions? The answer is, if they just want to learn the skills, that's okay as well. You do not have to go to competitions. But we highly, highly encourage students to go to competitions to build their CV for their college applications, as well as to get that learning experience and competitive experience from actually going to competitions. So if they are 8 years old, that's where our debate program starts. For students who are 8 years old, they will start at elementary track A. So that is our most basic beginner elementary students, zero experience in debating or public speaking whatsoever, no problem. They're 8 years old. If they pass the minimum reading level, they're able to enter that class. Then they move on into elementary B and elementary C. Right? So they'll progress through that. Okay? Let's say they're not in elementary, they're in middle school or high school, they would enter at middle school or high school beginner. So that's number 4 there. Okay? Then, once they're done with the beginner, they can jump into middle school, high school, intermediate. If they've done all 3 of the elementary, they don't have to do middle school beginner anymore. They can just jump into intermediate because they would have covered all the beginner across the elementary period. They learn the same things in elementary, but because the kids are younger, we break it down even smaller, and it does take longer to cover all of its material. But by the end of it, they can move on into intermediate. Then they move on into advanced, and then they move on into All-Stars. So the All-Stars, those 2 students that we saw in the video earlier, are part of our All-Stars team. They've been with us for about 1.5 years and 2 years, some of them. So this would take, let's say they join in elementary track A, that's 1 term. And then track B, and then track C, so that's 1.5 years. And then they go into MS Intermediate, so that's 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years. 3 years, they're at All-Stars. It does take time to be at the top of your game. Even if they don't make it all the way to All-Stars, some people, they just want to learn the basics. They go into beginner, and then after that, they say, oh, I don't think debating is really for me, or I like debating, but I don't really want to be competitive. Then that's also okay. Even in beginner, they would have the basic knowledge to already be able to go to competitions, but then after that, it will be focusing on doing well in those competitions as well. Great, so that's the roadmap. The key features of our debate class is that we focus, or we have argument and rebuttal development. So organizing the argument, idea generation, brainstorming to come up with those arguments. And the thing in debating, in competitions, and that's as well as how we do it here, is that there is no gap between speeches. And what that means is, as soon as the previous speaker is done, the next speaker will come up and speak and give their rebuttals. What does that mean? That means that the students will have to learn to think on their feet. To be able to, they hear something, immediately have a rebuttal, immediately write it down, and immediately being able to present it. So they have to be really quick. There's no 1 minute gap or 5 minute gaps for them to write down their responses. We do have those gaps in class when they're practicing, when they're just learning. We don't have to pressure them too much, but the goal is that. The goal is so that when they hear something, they immediately are able to think of a response with no hesitation. We have a variety of topics. I've talked about the topics earlier. Topics can range from philosophy, economics, politics, sociology, literature, linguistics, art. Basically anything under the sun that has any level of controversy that can be discussed, we will discuss them in our debate classes. Then we have weekly debates. So every week, the students will have debates and they will compete against one another in that class. For the middle school, high school levels, the classes are 3 hours long. And parents' reaction to this, whoa, 3 hours, that's so long. But that's the reason why, is because most of it is taken up by the weekly debates. So they need time to prepare their speeches, and they need time to do the speech. So the learning part, we'll have a bit of a discussion in the beginning, and learn the skills in the beginning, and then we'll practice it. So it's very practice heavy, so the 3 hours really does not feel like 3 hours at all. And a lot of times students would be shocked that the 3 hours are over, or they're like, oh, we wish we had more time, because a lot of that time is used for practice and for feedback for these students. The benefits of debate classes for students is critical thinking strategies, collaborations and communications, confidence and competitive spirit. This is within the 21st century skills that we talked about earlier. And these are skills that are absolutely crucial, especially in today's world, where just being technically smart or technically capable is no longer enough. That students or people have to be technically capable, but they also have to have strong soft skills and communication skills in order for them to succeed. Next, we have the public speaking courses. So public speaking, let's ask, what do you think? Hi, what's your name? EQ. Nice to meet you, EQ. EQ, have you ever done public speaking before?
Not really.
Not really. Do you know what public speaking is?
Yeah.
What do you think public speaking is?
Just speaking in public.
Excellent! That is exactly what it is, EQ. Public speaking is speaking in public. So it's speaking in front of an audience. Is what I'm doing right now public speaking? You think so? Yeah? Exactly. Great. So that's what we teach in public speaking. Public speaking is a bit easier. Our public speaking classes are a bit easier than debate. Usually, if through our diagnostic tests we think that a student is not ready for debate yet, we would then encourage them to do public speaking first to boost their speaking capability and confidence first before they get into the more argumentative and competitive side of things. The key features of our public speaking course is personalized development. A lot of places when they teach public speaking, and this isn't completely wrong, this is just a difference of philosophies. A lot of places that teach public speaking would have a specific way of doing public speaking. That you have to sound like this. That you have to speak like this in order for you to be good. And then you have a lot of the students that come out, they'll go, "Hello everybody, good morning. My name is John. And today I will tell you about," and that's how every single public speaking student sounds like, right? They have a very set way of doing it. However, here we believe in more of an individualized approach. That yes, we teach the strategies to write it. We teach them the fundamentals of body language, eye contact, pronunciation, vocal projection, and all of that. But in terms of style, we think that each student has their own personality. And you give the best speeches when you are yourself. If you try to copy others, and you're trying to act a certain way, and that's not you, people can tell. People will think you're dishonest. People will think you're hiding something. But if you're able to be yourself confidently in front of people and have your own personality that makes you unique and special, that's what makes you stand out. And that's what we believe in for our public speaking courses here at Point Avenue. That however the student's personality is, we'll refine it, elevate it a little bit, so that they can bring that personality on stage and be confident on stage as well. Purpose speech building, that we don't just teach public speaking for public speaking's sake. Our speeches we have right now in our curriculum, and we change this from time to time. But for next term, one of the outcomes is to a newscasting. So like they are reading the news, but it's a more casual kind of newscasting. More of, if you guys have seen Last Week Tonight with John Oliver or The Daily Show by Trevor Noah, where they'll have some jokes, they'll tell some stories as well when they are presenting the news and explaining the news and sharing their opinions on the news. Another topic that we do for next term as well is about Ikigai. So that is the purpose of life. So that's more sharing their own personality. Later on in life, when they go do interviews, they will be asked to introduce themselves or where do they see themselves in the future. So we think that this is getting them to think about those things at an early age, where they are able to understand their strengths and weaknesses and able to share about themselves in front of an audience. Collaborative activities. Yes, the students do write the speeches themselves, but we have lessons where they comment on each other's speeches, where they help each other. Oh, maybe you can do this better. Maybe you can do this better, so that they collaborate together. And whenever someone's stuck, the students love helping each other out in those classes. So it's very collaborative as well. So the benefits are public speaking skills, confidence and character building, idea generation, and organization. Last. The third kind of program that we have is CADA, or Current Affairs. What does CADA stand for? CADA stands for Current Affairs Discussion and Analysis. current affairs discussion and analysis. What do we do in class? Exactly that. Every week, the students will get a news article, right? Whatever's in the news that week, we'll choose that has a suitable reading level and that is explained in a way that is suitable for the kids of that age, whatever is happening in that week. And then they take it home, they read it, and in the next class, we come to class, we discuss it, right? The objective of this class is more for students who are shy to share their opinions, to get them to have an opinion, and also to create a reading habit where they read the news every week, and for them to help understand the news and understand the world around them. An example that I like to give of one of the topics is that when Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, right? It closed. Everyone was pulling out their money. We taught that to our CADA junior students who are from 8 to 10 years old about the Silicon Valley Bank. And we had them, or we supported them in understanding that article by helping them discover what are banks for? What do banks do? How do banks work? So from whatever happens in the news that week, we'll take out what are the lessons that we can teach from this, and we guide students through that discussion so that they can learn about those things and be updated with the news. So weekly news articles, monthly enrollment. For our public speaking and debate courses, the enrollment is only at the beginning of the term. If you miss that, sorry, we can't help you. Even if it's like 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, you want to join in, sorry. Because we've moved on far into the course and we don't want to repeat things. There are other students in the class, unfortunately, and we don't want that student to fall behind either. But because our CADA classes, we make the lessons every week based on what is in the news that week, students can come in. We have a monthly enrollment. So that means every month they can come in. And they wouldn't miss out on anything because every week it is a new lesson. Every week it is a new piece of news. Right? So that's the benefit of that one. And of course, student-centric discussions, where the purpose of the teacher is more just to guide and facilitate the discussions, and the students discover those things on their own. Benefits for students: global citizenship, confidence building, opinion, and idea sharing. Okay, so that is our academic classes, or our classes for debate. Now, under the debate program, we have another initiative that we actually came up with, or we tested this term, and we are excited to go on full on for next term, is the debate community. What is the debate community? We identified a problem, which was we had some students who want to join the classes just to learn the skills. And we had other students who joined the classes to go to competitions. So we created the debate community for the students who want to go to competitions, to help them go to competitions. This term, we tried it out. We took the students to the Asian Middle School Debating Championship in Vietnam. We have our students there. We have the teachers and accompanying staff who took the teachers there. And here in the third picture, we have those are our quarterfinalists for that competition, taking their medals and their certificates. So what do we do in this debate community? What we do is, one, we announce competition opportunities. Because sometimes parents are in the parent groups, and some parents, they don't want, or the students aren't interested in competing, and they don't like getting all those messages about the competitions because it doesn't have anything to do with them. So we have a specific group for parents and students who are interested in going to competitions where we will update the competitions that are going on. Right? So you will be aware of competitions that are happening in Thailand and the rest of Asia. Teammate matching. A lot of problems that students face is that they want to go to a competition, but they don't have friends to go with. They cannot find teammates. And maybe they take classes in Point Avenue, but they're in different sessions or different times, so they don't know each other. That's what we help with. We help connect students, bring them together. So even if you, as an individual, are interested in going to competitions, you can let us know in the debate community. We will help you find other students who are facing the same problem, put you together in a team, and help you register for competitions. We also help with competition registration and payment facilitation. So sometimes when it's 3 parents or 3 families that don't really know each other, when it comes to payments, it becomes a bit difficult to coordinate that, and to coordinate transport, and to coordinate all of these things. Don't worry. We coordinate them for you. All right, and we will help you to go to those competitions and help you with the payments and everything. Then we have monthly sparring sessions. So this is on top of the classes. On top of the classes, if they want extra practice, if let's say, oh, I have a competition next week, okay, they can sign up for the monthly sparring session so that they can get the extra practice. And the best part of all of this is we do it for you for free, right? This is all for free. This is just our initiative to help our students who are currently registered under us. They want to go to competitions. We want to encourage that. So this is how we encourage that. This year, or this term, we will recommend other tournaments as well. But the main tournament that we are recommending for next term is the Thailand Middle School Debating Championship. That is for middle school students. And that will happen on 4 and 5th of May. 4 and 5th of May. That means that let's say you are taking a beginner course. You are taking middle school debate beginner. Previously, in previous terms, we had the problem that students were taking the courses, but they didn't really have a goal. They didn't really have an objective of what they wanted to do. They just come to class, they learn, they go home, and then the students ask, Coach John, why am I doing this? Right? But now, we have the Thailand Middle School Debating Championship, which means that in May, the students who have joined our classes, we can help them to go to this competition. So it creates more of an objective, of a target, that we are learning debate, that we are training this sport so that we can go compete and do our best in this competition. It adds a little bit of motivation for the students as well. Great. That's all from me. I'll be back for the Q&A. But before I end my section of this seminar, I want to play a little video. This is one of our students who went to the competition in Vietnam with us, and her review of what she thought about that competition and that experience. Take it away. Oh, actually, I can press it here.
Well, I felt that this was a really fun competition, and it was like a really good chance for me to like experience debate in a bigger scale than like just a training classroom. And it was like a really good opportunity to actually grow as a debater, because like I got to see so many other people and like how they like debated, right? So like I was able to like figure it, to like more internalize it and like figure things about debating out for like the future, yeah, for like future competition.
All right, thank you very much. I'll pass it back to Mr. Daniel.
Very much, Mr. John. You could stay here in case they have questions for debate department. All right, so those are the two streams that we have here on offer for next term in our new location. So we'll pass it on to the parents, either here with us on site or those that are joining us from home. So do you have any questions for the debate department? So like CADA classes, public speaking classes, or for the academic department such as essay writing, creative writing, or writing coach?
Any questions? Any questions? No question? All good? Any questions? No? Okay. EQ, any questions? No? All good? Online? Oh. Hello everyone watching from home. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat, and we will have our staff here read the questions to us, and we will help you answer them.
Next slide. Can you switch?
Thank you.
All right. So with regards to our seminar today, I'd like to thank you all for joining us from home. I'd like to thank you all here for joining us on site. Thank you so much for your time, for your insight, as well as for your participation, letting us know a little bit more of your focus, letting us know what you want your child to excel in, what you want your child to achieve well in. So if there are no questions anymore for today, I'd like to thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope to see you all next term. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you.